For years, Asian airports as well as select European facilities have stolen the spotlight in terms of architectural and interior design. Names like Singapore Changi Airport, Seoul Incheon and Doha Hamad International Airport have emerged as some of the most visually impressive airports in the world. This has overshadowed the United States, the world's largest aviation market, which has long been filled with aging terminal designs that are ill-equipped to handle the increased passenger volumes of today. Now, however, things seem to be changing. Several airports across the US have undergone terminal renovation and rebuilding projects such as Newark Liberty International Airport or LaGuardia Airport, which has arguably gone from being the nation's worst airport to one of the best. And then there are scores of smaller airports across the US that have also been refreshing or rebuilding their terminal buildings, not only to increase capacity but also to provide more visually appealing facilities. Let's take a look at some of these for today's video. Airports in the US are mostly universally owned by local or state governments, while funding may be partially provided directly from the federal government. This money is far from the only source of income for airports, but it does still represent an important source of funding. Understandably, much of this money has gone towards airside projects, such as runways and taxiways. However, increased funding as part of a bipartisan infrastructure bill passed in 2021 has allowed for a greater focus to be placed on upgrading terminals. Combined with an increasing need to replace aging facilities that are visually outdated and are at capacity, we're seeing a wave of new airport renovation projects across the United States. Naturally, it's the biggest airports that receive the most publicity, such as LAX's renovation of Terminal 5, LaGuardia's reconstruction of Terminals B and C, as well as the new Terminal A at Newark. However, scores of non-hub and regional airports across the US have also been receiving terminal retrofits. These range from large facilities like Portland International to the new 5-gate terminal set to open at Mobile International in Alabama. These new buildings are more efficient and stylish than their predecessors, while also being more technologically advanced. On an individual level, these terminals are transforming the travel experience out of their respective airports, but collectively they're transforming regional air travel in the United States. So let's take a closer look at these projects. Upon the opening of its new terminal in 2024, Portland International called itself the quote, localist airport yet. This was reflected in its commercial spaces, as nearly all of the airport's dining and shopping options are branches of locally based companies. Additionally, the interior design is meant to evoke the nature of the Pacific Northwest, and as such, features extensive wood designs on the ceiling and walls sourced from locally grown trees. While the design is meant to be a faithful representation of Portland and the state of Oregon, it still features elements that are to be expected of any large space designed in the 2020s. High ceilings and floor-to-ceiling windows create a visually spacious environment with abundant natural lighting. The terminal features abundant greenery to provide a nature-themed environment for passengers while also continuing to represent the Pacific Northwest. Functionally, the new terminal features more open space in the pre-security area, and the airport is also receiving more gates to better accommodate future flight demand. This is especially important as Portland continues to grow in passenger count and as Alaska Airlines shifts flights due to overcrowding at Seattle-Tacoma. The first stage of the new terminal opened in 2024, and construction is slated to be completed by early 2026. Pittsburgh International, once home to a large US Airways hub, was dehubbed in the 2000s and has since become a large spoke catering to the local Pittsburgh market rather than a connecting facility. Its terminal, while world-class when it first opened in 1992, is outdated today and was designed to accommodate connections rather than optimizing for O&D, or origin and destination travel. In 2017, Allegheny County officials announced a plan to revitalize facilities, including a new landside terminal, which just opened on November 18, 2025. The old terminal would be demolished and replaced with a new facility focused on how to best serve local passengers rather than a major airline. The new terminal will feature streamlined security and a significantly more efficient baggage handling system, along with more parking spaces. Inside, travelers will find a modern design along with 4 outdoor terraces, a rare amenity in the US. As a whole, the new terminal is meant to be more convenient than its predecessors, reducing walking times from the entrance to the gate and streamlining time-consuming processes like security and baggage deliveries. These all contribute to making an experience that is more convenient for passengers starting or ending their journey at Pittsburgh. Myrtle Beach International is the second busiest airport in the state of South Carolina, after Charleston International. Naturally, it's a smaller airport that is categorized by the FAA as a small hub primary commercial service facility. Spirit is the largest carrier serving Myrtle Beach, followed by Southwest and then Delta. While it is named as an international airport, Myrtle Beach currently only sees domestic services. In 2023, the airport announced an expansion project for the main terminal building. This would be a renovation project rather than a reconstruction, but would also involve new construction to add 6 gates to the terminal, going from 12 to 18 gates. Naturally, the expanded Concourse A will include higher ceilings and larger windows. The new section is also physically bigger than before, creating more walking space that can better handle current passenger volumes. Functionally, not only does the renovation include more gates and a larger interior, but it also comes with additional larger restrooms for passengers. There are new retail spaces along with countertop charging tables and an improved wayfinding system. The updated terminal will also feature a new, more advanced and efficient baggage handling system. The renovation and expansion are in the final stages of construction, with completion slated by year's end. All of these projects are improving or replacing aging terminals, which were designed in the 20th century using 20th century design trends. Not only are the buildings themselves aging, but their designs are no longer visually appealing as modern architecture and interior design have evolved. These new terminals breathe life into the airport experience, which is often viewed as sterile and cumbersome at best in the United States. These new projects aim to better accommodate the continued increase in passenger volumes. Not only is this done by adding more gates, but also by creating wider spaces and adding more TSA lanes. Expanding further on security, creating a more efficient flow for screening, and installing more advanced scanning technology further increase airport capacity. This also goes hand in hand with making flying easier and more convenient. And so, what do you think of these various projects at mid-sized airports across the United States? Are there any in particular that you're really looking forward to checking out? Let us know by leaving a comment. In addition to our daily YouTube videos, Simple Flying publishes over 150 articles and a podcast every week. Visit simpleflying.com.